what investors seem to be demanding and interested in is precision, its flexibility, and its optionality.
As the ETF landscape evolves, a new class of products is gaining traction, leveraged and inverse single stock ETFs. First introduced in 2022, these funds offer amplified exposure to individual equities while amping up risk and volatility. So in this segment, we're going to examine recent trends in this burgeoning ETF category and a few others. Helping us to get to the bottom of it is Mo Sparks. He's the Chief Product Officer at Direxion. Mo, thank you for being here. It's great to see you.
Ron, thanks for having me.
So as of mid-2025, the total assets under management invested in single stock ETFs in the U.S. reached almost $38 billion. And of course, Direxion has been there right from the start and a leading pioneer in this space. So before we talk about specific ETF tickers, why have traders and strategic-oriented investors been gravitating toward leveraged and inverse single stock ETFs?
Ron, it's a great question. You said it at the onset in terms of growth. It's growth upon growth in our industry as a whole of ETFs. And if we look at where we compete across levered and inverse, we're a clear leader. And what we've seen, particularly with our single stock franchise, is that franchise is about $10 billion in assets now. And so it's growing quite rapidly. And what investors seem to be demanding and interested in is precision, its flexibility, and its optionality, right? And that's what these tools are built for, to deliver on those 3 points. And they are tools that are tactical in nature. And so built for traders who are looking to express a view on the markets, whether it's something that's happening in earnings. We're just wrapping up an earnings season, clearly been very notable in terms of surprises on the upside, some misses on the downside. And these tools are built to give those traders an opportunity to play either side. And we'll talk to some specific names in a little while. But what we have tried to do is to continue to involve our lineup to support the modern retail trader. And that is a evolving set of investors and traders. And so those needs are changing at all points in time. And so we brought a lot of new product to market. We continue to look at new single stock opportunities for companies that we see as emerging and that traders may find to be quite interesting, as well as things outside of that, which we can touch a bit on later as well.
Yeah, and traders certainly have been responding to that with the booming assets as well as trading volume. So let's talk specifically about some new bull and bear ETFs that Direxion recently launched, linked to Ford Motors, Shopify, Lockheed Martin. Congrats on the recent launches. So what type of traders might be interested in Direxion's bull and bear ETFs linked to these companies?
Yeah. So I think what's interesting about these 3 names is in some ways non-traditional in terms of how they fit together. And so, the through line between Lockheed Martin and Shopify is quite wide. But if you're to look at Direxion social media, I think we did a very nice job of highlighting a fighter jet with a shopping cart on top of it, which makes the story kind of tell itself and sing from that perspective. But as it pertains to the underlying names, I think what we see is traders are interested in 3 companies that are leaders within their given industries. And so we're thinking about someone like Ford, clearly in the midst of an evolution. There's been some more recent news off of the second wave of the Model T movement within Ford, and this Christmas tree assembly line that they're putting together, a nice social plug as well in terms of, I think, some of the things that are behind that. So one who wants to kind of ride the wave from a potential of that electronic shift happens at someone like Ford, there is an opportunity there. If one thinks that the moment maybe has passed for a long time automotive American-made manufacturer, you have an opportunity to take the other side from a trading perspective and express that short-term view. With something like Shopify, I think we see an emerging e-commerce company that's really the backbone of a number of not only online sites, but increasingly brick and mortar retailers that exist not only here in the US, but globally as well. And so I think offering the same investors and traders an opportunity to be on either side. And then last, as we look at Lockheed Martin, I think that the news yesterday with President Trump and Mr. Putin meeting in Alaska is only very telling in terms of the geopolitical landscape is ever evolving. And at the kind of the nexus of that is none other than aerospace and defense companies, Lockheed Martin here in the US being a leader. And so the same trend kind of applies, allowing for our traders to seek those opportunities that may present themselves in the market to express a view on either side.
Yeah, makes sense. Now, beyond Ford Motors, Shopify, and Lockheed Martin, are there any other maybe that you could mention briefly, single stock ETFs from Direxion that you've seen a real pickup in terms of trading volume and asset flows?
Yeah, so our lineup now has roughly 40 ETFs, and I mentioned at the onset about $10 billion in assets, and so we have kind of a plethora of options for traders to consider, and a set that will continue to kind of grow here. But specifically, maybe there's a few that I would highlight. One, I think you'd be hard pressed to miss, really what I would say is a category definer in our Tesla product, TSLL, long Tesla, as well as TSLS for short Tesla. So taking a bullish view on the first and a bearish on the second. And that fund now, or ETF, is about $6 billion in assets. And so really here to stay. It trades about $2.5 billion every single day. And so highly liquid, allows for one to come in and out and extremely low cost. And where we started talking about precision and flexibility, I think that product kind of defines that for us. And so that is one. You kind of go down the list, and there's a number of new entrants that we've brought to market that I would say are worthwhile to mention. Specifically, something like Palo Alto Networks recently reported earnings as well. Other side of kind of the technology evolution and revolution that's taking place here globally is cyber and how one protects themselves. And so we now offer products off of that name as well. And then similar vein is someone like Cisco. And so we offer a bull and a bear version, CSCL and CSCS. For those that are looking to express either side of the equation as well. Other few that I'd maybe just spotlight quickly would be, different industry, but clearly healthcare has been in focus. Novo Nordisk most recently announcing a cut in terms of the price of their wonder drug for obesity. Stateside, we have Eli Lilly, who is a competitor within that marketplace. Earlier this year, we launched a pair, ELIL and ELIS, for those investors who are very interested in kind of playing news, earnings, sentiment associated with that trend that we're seeing in the marketplace as well. So I think that gives kind of a plethora of options that are out there. I think one thing that's useful is you can always find all these ETFs at Direxion.com. We tend to try to use a common nomenclature with either an L for long or an S for short, or a U for up or a D for down, to allow all investors to better understand if they're investing in a bullish or bearish manner.
I like it. A trader friendly user interface. Makes sense. So let's talk about gold prices, which have been trading near all-time highs. And I'm curious as to how some of the leverage mining ETFs like NUGT, Nugget, and JNUG are responding. Also, we understand that there's some upcoming adjustments to the underlying index for both Nugget and JNUG, and of course, their bearish pairs. So tell us more.
Yes. Yeah. And so I think that, it's been hard to ignore the continued kind of noise in the marketplace. And gold has long been a safe haven for many investors and traders, to kind of take a moment to breathe. And what we've seen clearly this year is, gold in itself, a rise in terms of price. Naturally, one would think that would also correspond to interest in something that is a bull or a bear, particularly on the bull side for those that have been looking to profit, or bear those that maybe are taking a directional bet that things may be going another way in time. And so we've seen elevated volumes across the lineup of the four pairs that we have on both gold miners as well as junior gold miners. And then as you spotlighted, all products sometimes go through a change. And so for Dust, actually in the process of an index conversion. And so, that product is built off of an existing ETF. That ETF made an index change, and we made the decision after careful consideration to go ahead and transition with the underlying ETF to the new index. For an end trader, really no difference in terms of expectation. What you still have is very liquid index, highly tradable, all the qualities that one was looking for in that product will carry over. That's a change that's set to take place in mid-September. Again, if everyone's looking for any news about that change or has specific questions, you can always go to Direxion.com to learn more.
One final question, Mo, before you take off. With 10 out of 11 S&P 500 sectors up this year, it might be 11. Last time I checked, I don't know. We're close, but bulls are very much in control. The top 3 performing S&P 500 sectors, as far as industry groups, you've got technology, communication services, the industrial sector. We've also got the healthcare group, which has been a laggard, making some noise. So does Direxion offer ETFs targeting these particular industry groups?
Spot on, Ron. So we do offer end investors both a breadth in terms of our single stock offerings as well as across more diversified strategies or sectors or industries. And that's really where our business began in 2007 and 2008. And so, you have spotlighted that so far this year, the bulls have won out, and it's an open question in terms of if that will be the finishing order. But we've seen interest from traders on both sides. And so, we look across our sector lineup and industries in particular. Maybe there's a few I would highlight. I think within healthcare, a few tickers to remember: Cure and Pill, for kind of expressing a view on either side of the healthcare industry as a whole or the sector. And then if you look within it, we're seeing, continued interest despite some of the challenges from a political standpoint towards biotech. And so Lab U and Lab D, U indicating being a bull and D being bearish. 2 considerations as well for the biotech sector. And then it goes, we hard pressed not to mention kind of 2 of our flagship strategies, which are Tech L and Tech S on technology. And so for those looking to, take a decision on either side of the technology sector or within that, very clearly the thing that's kind of continuing to drive our global economy, and particularly in the U.S., semiconductors. And so SOXL and SOXS are areas of continued interest from our trading community. And then stepping kind of completely outside, what I would note is maybe something even like home builders. And so as we're thinking about a change in interest rates and mortgage rates, see they've come down more recently. Home builders may be benefiting from that. There's inventory questions that still linger in the housing market, but something like nail is a consideration for an active trader who's looking to express a view on the bullish side of home building. And so, again, what one can expect when they come to Direxion is a number of opportunities, whether it's for concentrated exposure, say in single stock, where you're really looking to play news, sentiment, earnings that are out there on an individual company, to more diversified baskets where you have an opportunity to express a view towards any given sector or industry. So we're excited to bring more to market later this year, and I look forward to a conversation to discuss those.
Good stuff. Well, thank you, Mo, for taking the time and for your excellent insights. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Ron.
Be sure to visit Direxion.com to learn more about Direxion's ETF lineup. Get news updates along with education for traders. I'm Ron Delegge. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.